Hello and welcome to Miss Gloria Ludwig, who is running for Alderman of the 1st Ward in the April 6, 2021 consolidated election. Thank you for participating in this candidate interview. I will be asking a variety of questions which were developed in a collaboration between the Maine West Westerner student newspaper and Pi Sigma Pi Social Science Honor Society. You will have 2 minutes to share your answer to each one. When the 2 minutes have passed, I ask that you only take a few seconds to finish your thought so that we can move on to the next question. Now let's start with question 1. We would like to know, if you had 2 minutes to address the people of Des Plaines, what would you say?
It would be my honor, and I would be humbled by your vote as a write-in candidate for the 1st Ward Alderman. My name is Gloria Ludwig, and you may be familiar with my name, as I have served as your city clerk from 2009 until 2017. Before that time, back in 1996, I married my wonderful husband, Rich. We've lived in Des Plaines and in the 1st Ward in particular for 20 years. I have a vast array of organizations with whom I have worked, and my goal has always been to help others. As your 1st Ward Alderman, I'm looking forward to serving you in a respectful and responsive manner. Ethics are important. How you treat others is important. And I look forward to serving as your 1st Ward Alderman when I am elected. I thank you for your support, and I look forward to your help in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your reply. We will now turn to our second question. Again, you'll have 2 minutes to provide your answer. Our second question is, how do you plan on managing the spread of COVID-19 in our community? What are your priorities?
My plan is to follow the plan that has been given throughout our country. And although it is and may be difficult because we're not used to and we haven't faced a pandemic, that we need to be as cooperative as we can. Over and over, CDC, amongst other medical authorities, have encouraged us to wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, stay 6 feet away from others, do your best not to be in crowds. And by applying these guidelines, it should at least slow the spread of this voracious disease. So my part is not only following these guidelines, but also encouraging people to stay safe, keep others safe, be aware of others. And we don't know what health issues other people are facing. So as I say, do our best to keep ourselves safe and keep others safe. And we will get through this.
Thank you for your answer. Please take the next 2 minutes to respond to our third question. For the third question, we'd like you to tell voters, how do you plan to improve infrastructure, keeping in mind issues such as flooding, rundown areas, sustainability, and climate change?
Flooding has been an issue for the city of Des Plaines for as far back as we can look in the history. The Des Plaines River runs right through our city. Many mitigations or methods of controlling the flooding have been brought in over the last 8, 10, 20 years. And we're doing our best as a city government, I believe, to mitigate the situation, to reduce the flooding and help those who are affected by the flooding. For me, I would work with city departments, look toward other authorities that would assist us such as the Army Corps of Engineers and any other governmental agencies and entities that would assist us in reducing the flooding even further. What we can do as individuals and as neighbors is help each other out. When there's flooding, do what you can to help, whether it be provide a meal, try in some way to help them with their properties. I know with the pandemic, no crowds, no big groups and what have you. But whether it be an encouraging word or give to an organization that can assist with victims of flooding. And I look forward to working with the council to further explore solutions to this problem.
Thank you for your answer. I would like for you now to consider our fourth question. The fourth question is, what is something you want to see added or changed in the downtown area in order to provide recreational activities and promote local businesses?
My husband and I have lived in the downtown area for 24 years. My husband lived here since started, had moved here in 1991. So for us, before the pandemic, we had the Friday night gatherings in Metropolitan Square, providing a variety of entertainment groups, people that would come in and entertain all those who gathered. This is important. However, right now, this is not something we can do. I believe that offering these Friday nights in Metropolitan Square was a plus, enjoyed by many, and I look forward to the time when we can do that again. As far as the downtown, I know that the council and community development has been working very diligently to revitalize, to provide some sort of entertainment as well as restaurants for the benefit of the community, not just the downtown area, but for the benefit of all of us, and also to bring others in to see what Des Moines has to offer. And we do have much to offer. So it's a collaboration of the government, the aldermen, the ward residents, the citizens of Des Moines, and everyone to work together to provide socialization for all of us.
Thank you for your explanation. For our fifth question, we'd like to know, how would you answer that? What do you plan on doing with the city's budget within your term, and what areas of the budget would you prioritize?
I do have the experience of examining a budget as well as providing a budget when I was the city clerk. We looked at all the necessary expenses as well as expenses that may come up periodically, such as elections. And in looking at the total budget is to determine what takes priority. What do we need to do now? What can we do? And what can we perhaps put off to a later time? For me, public safety is important. Our first responders are important. Our fire department, our police department. And as a citizen, I have been through both the Fire Academy and the Citizens Police Academy. And when the time comes that this comes back, I would urge everyone to go through those programs. It gives you not only a lot of information, but an awareness of what it takes to be a first responder, what's required of you, and how citizens can help, whether it be directing them where a fire is, or whatever you think would help a neighbor in need. And so for me, going through the budget, it would be examining each department, what the requests are, and like I said, prioritizing. The public safety is important for all citizens. And I would look thoroughly scrutinize those requests.
Thank you for your answer. Let's now shift to our sixth question. For our sixth question, please explain. How do you plan to expand and promote education in Des Plaines, particularly education about our city's history?
Thank you for asking that question. We have the best Des Plaines History Center, and Philip Moore, who is the executive director, the young ladies who work with him, have done a tremendous job in educating citizens, classes of students, other groups that have come in up until the pandemic a year ago. And since that time, they provided opportunities for online viewing for particular topics. They've had to shift how they do things as well as the rest of us. We've had to adapt to what's available, how can we continue to provide these services. And these young people are very knowledgeable. They work with other historical societies throughout the state, probably throughout the nation. They do a great job of encapsulating and capturing and keeping our city's history, which is important. My husband and I have been a supporter for many years, and we've always enjoyed going over there and learning more about our city beyond what we've seen while we've actually lived here.
Thank you for your reply. For our seventh question, we would like to know, please share your thoughts on how you will promote involvement in local politics, especially for young people.
In the past, I have worked as a city clerk with the class from Maine West, the student government summer class. And it was always my pleasure to educate the students on the rules, regulations, the duties and responsibilities of the city clerk and what role the clerk plays in city government. After giving them a brief history of the clerk's office and its importance, I would walk them through the council meeting agenda. I would explain each segment, the citizens' participation, as well as what the consent agenda is, what its purpose is, and then to go into the discussion portion of the meeting and explain, depending on the topics that were on the agenda, the discussion by committee members during that time and what the agreement is of the council members. And from that point on, it goes back into regular session, and then motions are made whether or not to approve particular ordinance, resolution, request for plan development, whatever was on the agenda. And then at the end of the meeting, the alderman would give their closing comments or possibly announcements, as well as the mayor. But I always enjoyed working with young people. It's one of my favorite parts of being city clerk, and that's what I would carry on and contact the school districts or schools and find out where can I help facilitate and encourage students to get involved in politics and in their local matters. It takes each one of us to care. And that's what I would like to encourage is people to care about what happens in it, to look for ways to help.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Let's move on to our next question. As always, you'll have 2 minutes to share your answer. For our eighth question, if elected, how do you plan to build an equitable relationship with the community and the schools in our city while making your presence known?
I would contact the schools and as well as businesses and other groups, organizations that I'm very familiar with and those that I may not be familiar with, and introduce myself and ask them to give me their input, tell me how I can help them, and to reestablish the relationship that I have had with entities and organizations. I know that part of the school curriculum is give back to the community. I've been a volunteer for a variety of organizations since I got out of high school, and starting back in 1972 with my first Operation Open Heart, which was geared toward those people serving in the military. But there are many organizations with which I'm familiar, and I would encourage a group discussion or discussion about how can we help each other? How can we get the residents involved? It's amazing how many giving and wonderful people there are in our community, and those we may not even know about.
Thank you for your explanation. We have just 3 questions left. What specific means of communication will you use in order to regularly communicate with constituents? Will there be newsletters sent out, a dedicated Facebook page, regular ward meetings?
In the past, the City of Des Plaines has had delivered to all residents a quarterly newsletter. It's informational, it's very helpful, especially those people who don't have a connection to the internet, don't have accessibility for obtaining information. And it helps to give those people and every resident the information they need from the fire department, the police department, how to prevent getting involved in a scam, when you can water your lawn, what organizations may be available to help with particular situations. And communication is very important. I would like to see a more regular communication with all the residents. I would provide an email list. Sign up, and I will do my best to keep you apprised of what's going on in the city, what's coming up on the city council meeting, what's on the agenda, what may be taking place or happening, what needs to be resolved, an issue within our ward. So it's not just our ward, but to make everyone aware of what's going on within our ward. I would like to look into a quarterly newsletter for the ward. And as far as regular meetings, of course, we can't do that now. However, in the future, I would like to see quarterly meetings. And if you have questions, ask your questions. You'll be able to email me, call me, if I don't answer immediately, leave a message, and I will call you back. But customer service and service to the residents, that's what this is all about. And I feel very strongly that being accessible to the residents is part of being alderman and advocating on particular issues and representing the residents as well.
Thank you for sharing those thoughts. For the 10th question, let's say you get elected. When your term is up, how do you envision you will have helped better Des Plaines?
By being involved in not only the ward, but in the city, I would continue to do volunteer work. I would continue to encourage others to get involved, do what they can, when they can, to help make Des Plaines a better place. In leaving an elected position, legacy should be at the forefront. When I leave, how much better am I leaving the ward and the city? And I want a smooth transition for the next elected alderman to be able to make it a smooth transition. And I would be a source for any questions once they were elected as an alderman. So that I anticipate by my participation and encouragement that the ward will be left in better shape and the residents will be in a better position within the community, or to have a better attitude, if you might call it that. But I would do my best to encourage everyone to participate and not just sit back. It's just what we need to do as citizens, help each other out and do what we can do to make this a better place in which to live.
Thank you for your response. We will now turn to our final question of the day. Please share with voters your opinion in response to our 10th question. Is there anything else you would like the voters to know?
What I would like the voters to know is my commitment as your alderman is a firm one. Unless something unforeseen comes up, I will attend each and every meeting. I will do my best to represent you in a responsible and ethical manner. I believe that civility is truly a part of working with other people. I was raised with values of the golden rule. Have respect for others, their opinions, others' property. Have respect for yourself as well. And leave people feeling valued and not demeaned. Everyone has an opinion. Every opinion is valuable. And I'm certainly looking forward to serving and also obtaining your help as residents for ideas. What ideas do you have? I don't know it all. I'm willing to learn. I love to learn. I'm going to school since I got out of school. And education to me is very important. Participation in the community is important. Therefore, I put myself in as a write-in candidate, and I look forward to being elected as your first ward alderman. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. That concludes our interview questions. If voters would like more information about your platform or plans, what would be the best way to find out more details?
Okay. Facebook, I have a Facebook page which talks about running as a write-in candidate for first ward alderman. And I plan on speaking with people over the phone. And my email address is gloriaj.ludwig@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you to Maine West and all of you who put this together. I appreciate your time, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you.
Great. Thank you again for your participation in this interview and for your interest in serving our community.